Okay, so we pulled in yesterday and we have been killing it today. I went grocery shopping today. I actually bought this Bissell cleaner that I'm about to clean the bed with because Danny was sleeping here and I think she may have opened this hatch. And we just took on a ton of waves on the bow the one day and the bed was soaked. So it just kind of smelled a little bit, had salt water on it. So I wanted to like really deep clean it, and then I figured we could use this Bissell like cleaner. This is not a sponsorship, for like our upholstery and some of the other stuff we have in the living room, like just like the seat cushions. I just thought it'd be great to refresh it because why not? So I did that. Seth actually, I'll show you. Our boat's a little bit of a mess right now, but Seth and Hope installed our TV here by the nav station. So it's kind of tucked away, but then when you sit over here, you can see everything. And then they're right now installing Starlink. Day 2, the boat's a mess. It's gonna have to get worse before it gets better. We have things literally everywhere. Seth is bringing over all of our clothes, which is absurd. We're gonna have to get rid of some stuff. And then in here, we have totes. So we have like a totes for lines, parts, safety, life jackets. We have all of our jerry jugs still. It's honestly just an absolute mess. And then in here, we have some clothes and just, oh, it's just a mess. So we're gonna just keep working on it, plugging away, get our stuff here, and then just figure out what we want to keep, what we want to get rid of. Alright guys, so we have been back for about a week. Today is Saturday, we got back last Friday, and we went back to work, and between working, we have been moving into this boat. So we have moved pretty much everything over from windrows into post time, and what we did was get everything that we use on an everyday basis organized throughout the whole boat, kept the spare guest room open, and then anything that was like a tool or extra lines or extra parts got put in a tote, and the tote is in our like storage room, which is like the third bedroom of this boat is our storage room, which is why we liked having, instead of one big main like aft cabin, we have 2 smaller ones. So we have like a kind of like a closet. Have a lot of totes though. I'm going to show you that. It's a little stressful for me to even just look at it. I've been dreading going through the totes, but ideally we would have less totes than what we have now. So we have quite a bit of totes where it's really hard to get to everything, which doesn't make it practical for a closet. We want to be able to like go in, grab what we need pretty quickly, but right now we have quite a bit of stuff. So we need to go through. I would love to get rid of maybe 2 totes so that we can just access it a little bit easier, but we also have like a guitar in there, a ukulele, that Bissell vacuum cleaner. Just a lot of stuff is in there, so we need to clean it out. It's very cluttered and it's probably heavy on that side. So we're going to actually eventually add like lithium batteries to our boat and probably put it on the other side to offset the weight of the storage room. But I've been dreading this. We got to get it done. It's been on my list for a week. It's time to declutter. We have a lot of great stuff, so it's going to be hard decisions to make, like what we want to keep and what we want to get rid of, because we don't collect junk. When you live tiny, everything that you have has like a purpose, and it's also quality. So we got to get rid of some of that stuff. We're going to actually put it on windrows for the next owner so that they just have some quality items. So I'm going to show you the room that we have right now in its state, and then you can watch us get it into something hopefully usable and ready for sailing and just projects. Okay, so this is one of our cabins. We have some stuff in here, but pretty much these are some of old Seth's uniforms and just like our Gosan and a mini little piano and our jackery. So this is pretty much good. We just have to kind of get rid of some of these miscellaneous items. But when you come over here, ready, boom, here you go. This is a absolute mess. It's just an absolute dumpster fire. We have everything everywhere. We still have water jugs. We still have jerry cans. We've got extra cans goods from all of our provisions, a ukulele. We've got just tools, guitar. You can see all the lines back there, life jacket, everything. We just need to go through this. So that's today's project. We're gonna go through this, organize it as best as we can over the next few hours, and hopefully it'll have more organization and like rhythm to it. All right, here is the final organization for now. We obviously want to get rid of some more, but this is what we have. We took off the cushions so that the totes wouldn't ruin the beautiful cushions that we have. So we have our generator, our jackery, our 2 solar panels in their little pouches. We have our provisions that we still have that we're going to hopefully then be able to use this up. Our guitar, and then just different totes that we have. We have a tote for tools and like all of like the paints and just creams and whatever we have, parts and just all those different things. Ukulele, fishing rod, and that is kind of how we organize this. Okay, and then if you come over here to our guest room, this is our leftover water that we still have from like our water provisioning, so these will eventually be gone. This we had as a backup to the backup for our gas for our generator, so it runs on propane and gas. So this, I'm thinking we're going to just leave it for the community here for their under the bridge grill area. And then this is a guest room. It's pretty open, and this is pretty much almost a usable, fully functioning room. And this is pretty much a fully functional storage room. We just need to get rid of a little bit of stuff. In the storage room, I actually didn't show you, we still have some provisions left, so this is like my closet. This is our little storage room. For now it functions because we don't have a storage unit of any kind. We just want to downsize to have everything fit on our boat in one little room that we can easily kind of get to, still get to the engine, get in and get our things. So we are officially moved in. We've been here for about a week and a half since the crossing, and we have moved everything from our old boat to our new boat. So Windrose is completely bare with the exception of some tools and parts that we left on the boat, and we will list her and clean her and get her ready to be sold for the next wonderful owner. So we are kind of putting the final touches on this boat because everything has been organized, everything now has a home, and I have this major wall behind me. So we put our frame TV by our nav station because this TV seating area, actually it makes a U shape so everybody can see the TV if they're sitting here. However, we have this wonderful wall behind me that is bare and just asking for a little bit of like cozy artwork. So I have something that I ordered. If you remember this piece, this is my beautiful piece of canvas. This is all that I could fit on Windrose. So now if I hung this, it would look very, very, very like tiny. So I got some little friends for this canvas so that we can have a little collage going on over here, and that's going to be the last little final touch of this boat. So I'm going to go pick that up because it came in the mail today, so I'm going to get to go kind of make the little artwork together and kind of hang it. I've been just using 3M strips or command strips. The nails and brackets that come, I actually just take off and like flatten this piece because I don't want to put any like nails in this wall because it's just a beautiful wall and I don't want to ruin it. So I'm going to use the 3M strips, but I'm really excited for this. So I'm going to go down and get that from the post like office box that we have here at the marina, and you can come with me because I'm really, really excited. I'm so excited to hang this and just make my own little collage. I hope it works like it's, I hope it comes out better or as expected in my mind. I have high expectations.
Yesterday I lost the battle, trying at all costs, oh, to keep you, baby. Oh, to keep you, baby. Do-do-do. Now I hurt so bad. All I feel is sad. you, baby.
I love it. Let hope be an anchor for your soul. We have the hope as an anchor for the soul for an insecure. Hebrews 6:19.
Name as you shut the door behind you. And now I wonder, why won't you come back? Love me, hold me, need me, like the way you used to do, when it was just me and you. Don't go, I need you, I'll never mislead you. Give this love another chance. Take my hand and let me have this dance. Tomorrow is another day, so sit around and waste away without you, baby. Oh, without you, baby. My life is
We are going to talk about all of the things that broke on the crossing that we did from California to Hawaii. Now that we have the pictures hung, I got my hair cut post-crossing, we can get down to the nitty-gritty now that the important things are done, because we can share all the things that broke that were unfortunate for us, but will be entertaining for you, because we will not only share what broke, but we'll also talk about what we're going to be fixing, different improvements that we're going to be making, and just different things that we're going to have in coming videos. So we are going to start with the smallest things first and work our way up to the biggest issue that we had on the crossing. So the smallest things that we had happen is just identifying leaks. We have some small leaks kind of scattered around the boat. Nothing major, nothing that's bringing a ton of water into the boat, but the mast just around the top of the mast base is just dripping a little bit of water in. Not the hatch. We did have a hatch left open, which let in water. It's definitely not a leak, that's just a mistake. So because our mast is a keel step mast and it goes through the deck, we have a little bit of just an area that we're going to need to seal. We also had some areas in one of the forward head bathroom. On one of the shelves there's just a little bit of a leak, and on our port side underneath one of our windows in this main seating area, it just leaks a little bit, just kind of right underneath the window. And then the two hatches above me just leak a little bit where the clamp is. So nothing major. I actually didn't experience the hatches above me leaking until it just rained when we were docked. On the crossing, I don't really believe I noticed any water coming in. But those are just some of the leaks and just like water entrances that we need to seal up. The second thing that happened to us during the crossing was blocks, lines chafing, and shackles. So we went through some shackles and we broke a couple shackles. Our shackle on the jib broke, and then our traveler that we have for our main sheet actually the block broke twice. So when Seth did the crossing the first time, the first attempt with his mom, that block broke, and then the same block broke when we went and we completed the crossing. So broke towards the end. We are going to have to do a new setup with that to make sure that that is like ready to go. We added a better block system on the crossing. We're just going to kind of tweak it and make sure that it's perfect and the load and everything is great moving forward so that it doesn't happen a third time. Also, our lines just got a lot of wear and tear. So we had our spare halyard, probably took the brunt of it, because with our code 0 we noticed quite a bit of chafing at the top. So we're going to eventually have to take that spare halyard down. It didn't break completely, it's just pretty severely chafed. So we're going to have to take that line down and then rerun a new spare halyard. We also just had overall wear and tear on a ton of our lines, just from 25 days of constant use. Nothing crazy, not as bad as a spare halyard, but just something that we're going to monitor as we get sailing and then slowly replace out those lines with just backup lines that we have here. Before we left on the crossing, I went to Minnie's Yacht Surplus and I bought quite a bit of blocks and shackles. I do regret I should have had more shackles that I bought, but I bought more blocks than shackles, which is fine because we used tons of blocks. We just needed more blocks than I realized. We broke a couple Harkin ones, and we had like the Lumar and the Gauhauer blocks that we use, which have been really great, and I got them for an affordable price. Looking back, I wish I would have bought more shackles. We didn't really need more shackles, but I feel like we were down to our last few, and it would have been really helpful to have a little bit more on hand just for peace of mind. So the next piece of hardware that broke is our clutch. So we had a spring come loose. We were still able to use it, and we're gonna have to rewrap it and rework it this week. However, on the crossing we were able to use the clutch and it held the line down. However, anytime we opened the clutch to let it go, we had to feed it through by hand. So this clutch was used with our jib sheet. So you'll probably see a couple in our videos of when we were doing sail changes, we had to like feed it through the clutch by hand, and we were kind of throwing it out there. So definitely not ideal. We're going to definitely fix that this week. That way when we get sailing next week, we will have a working clutch for our jib sheet because we use that sail constantly. All right, the next problem we had was a pretty decent problem, but it happened about 4 days out from land, and that is our code 0 just completely busted, ripped. We had a sail blowout. I mean, it's pretty beyond repair. It is like the biggest tear ever. The wind just popped it, and we took it down and we put it back in the storage bag, and that's going to be the end of our code 0. So I think it's definitely beyond repair. Luckily it was a used sail. It's super lightweight, and since the wind on the trip was just so inconsistent, there was a couple times it was flapping. It definitely would just fill really quickly and then kind of have some slack and then fill again really quickly, which honestly is not ideal for a sail. You'd rather just have like 10 knots consistent blowing into it, but there was just some unideal wind that we had, and I'm so glad that it was a code 0 that blew versus our beautiful main or our jib. So definitely a bummer that we lost that sail. However, in Hawaii here, when we're in the Hawaiian island and kind of sailing to the different islands here, I don't really know how much we're going to need of the code 0. I feel like we have a really ton of wind here on the Hawaiian Islands. So we're going to pause before getting a new sail, and then eventually we can get a new sail once we're ready to depart from Hawaii. So we are down to the last 2 issues we had, and these are the biggest issues that we have had totally on the crossing. And I saw a lot of comments from you guys like, what the heck, why aren't you guys using autopilot? This is insane. You guys are crazy. We were crazy. We hand steered the entire trip with the exception of a few hours when we had the engine on, and we used autopilot when the engine was on. We did that because our batteries were just really struggling to keep up. We just couldn't keep, the power was just being drained really quickly by the use of our refrigerator, by the use of the charts, by using autopilot. So we started hand steering immediately, and the refrigerator got turned off about halfway through the trip. I think it was about day 10 or 11 that we turned off the refrigerator completely for the rest of the 25-day trip. The other thing that we didn't use was the electric winch. So you'll see in a lot of our videos, we're just hand cranking our electric winch. So we would put the winch handle on, and we pretty much left it on there the whole time because there was no button being used at all. That was like one of the first things that we dropped because it's more of a luxury, but definitely would have been nice. But we just hand cranked, got a little workout in, got our heart rate up, warmed us up, and obviously autopilot was probably the biggest thing that we didn't get to use. We just don't have the battery power on this boat to just run those things all day and just have like an hour of a generator charge, or an hour or 6 hours of the solar charging it, or the alternator for an hour. We started using like the fridge and all those things in the beginning, but we would just run the engine for about an hour, and it really truly wasn't enough. So moving forward, we have some lithium batteries that we're going to put in this boat, make a bigger battery bank. That way we can have like multiple days off grid with just power and just the ability to use autopilot and the electric winch and just the things that this boat has that we want to use because we didn't get to use it on the crossing. All right, and the last thing that broke on our ocean crossing was honestly the worst part of the ocean crossing. It was definitely a low for all of us, and that was the engine. We had just an engine odd circumstance that we're diving into more this week. We turned on the engine and it didn't really sound right. Immediately it just sounded just a little bit off, and Seth and I kind of looked at each other. We were like, this sounds a little weird, but we gave it an extra like minute or so because we thought it just needed to warm up. I mean, it's an engine, it's been a couple days since we used it, we just wanted to give it time to warm up. But like honestly, after about 30-45 seconds of just kind of sitting there giving it time to quote unquote warm up, it warmed up with some smoke, everybody, because we had some smoke and immediately turned it off when we identified that we could smell smoke. Came down below, opened up the stairway where the engine is, and we found a small like charred piece. It didn't even have any substance to it. I thought it was going to have a little bit of something hard, but it just could dissolve. I swear if you took that charred piece and you put it in water, it would just dissolve into like just a black liquid. There was really nothing to see what it was that kind of burned. So we didn't know if it was a rubber burning smell or if it was electrical burning smell. We're leaning more towards the electrical, but we're digging into that this week to just figure out what it was and what do we need to fix it, because we want to get our engine back up and running because we've done enough engineless sailing and I would love to have that and then have the alternator to help charge the batteries and just have everything work because we have a great Yanmar. Prior to the engine completely stopping working, because we actually never turned it on again after it smoked, it just felt like too big of an issue that we couldn't DIY or troubleshoot or turn on again to kind of see exactly where it was smoking. We didn't want to do any more damage. So prior to that though, the fuel gauge stopped working, so we actually weren't able to even see if we had diesel in the tank, which we did. It was full. At that point we were probably 3/4 of the way full, and it showed that we had none. So definitely completely stopped working. And then our voltmeter stopped working as well. So those are going to be things that we're going to troubleshoot. That way we know voltage and we know how much diesel we have in our tank. But for now, we need to troubleshoot those. Engine is top priority, the clutch is up there, and just some of those little things that we're gonna just fix in the next couple weeks. Adding some lithium, and yeah, just doing some of the projects and fixing things that broke, because you cannot sell for 25 straight days and not have things just completely go awry. It's just gonna happen. It's territory, and honestly, as long as we fix this engine, the rest I feel like is not that bad. I feel like people have had worse, people have bigger issues, and for 25 days of straight strain and sailing on this boat, I feel like we did pretty good. So we're gonna get those projects done this week. We'll bring you along with us, and that's what happened on our ocean crossing. That's what broke between California and Hawaii, sailing 2,600 miles. Thank you so much for watching this week's episode. Make sure you subscribe, leave a comment down below, and like this video, and stay tuned next week when we begin to fix, troubleshoot, and test all of the systems that broke on our ocean crossing. See ya!